There's something you need to know about twin flames that can completely transform the way you understand this connection. It's about that specific moment, that choice that seems so simple, but carries consequences that go way beyond what your conscious mind can perceive. It's when you decide, consciously or unconsciously, to date other people after you've recognized your twin flame. After you've felt that connection that doesn't compare to anything you've ever experienced before. After you've gone through that recognition that transcends all human logic. But here's what almost no one tells you. When you try to replace your twin flame with someone else, when you force your heart to open up to someone you know, deep down, doesn't carry that same frequency, something very specific starts to happen. Not just on the emotional level, but on the energetic, physical, and even spiritual planes. It's like you're trying to tune a radio to a completely different frequency than the one your soul has already recognized as its natural frequency. If you've made it this far, you've probably been through this. And in this video, you're going to discover exactly what happens when twin flames try to move on with other people. I'm going to reveal the 5 specific effects that this choice creates in your life. Effects that operate on levels so deep you probably didn't even realize they were happening. And if you stay until the end, you'll understand why trying to replace your twin flame isn't just ineffective, but might be delaying exactly what your soul desires most. And make sure to subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, because what you're about to discover might finally explain why you feel so lost trying to move forward. First of all, you need to understand what's really happening energetically when 2 twin flames recognize each other. Because this recognition isn't just emotional or psychological. It's an activation that happens simultaneously on multiple layers of your existence. When you look into your twin flame's eyes for the first time and feel that instant recognition, that unexplainable familiarity, that sensation of finally having found something you didn't even know you were searching for, what's happening goes far beyond chemical attraction or personality compatibility. There's an energetic synchronization happening between 2 fields that were originally one. Think of it like 2 tuning forks that were created from the same sound source. When one vibrates, the other automatically starts vibrating at the same frequency, even if they're in different rooms. That's the nature of the twin flame connection. It's not something you choose to feel or not feel. It's something that gets activated in the moment of recognition and operates independently of your conscious will. When this recognition happens, your energetic signature changes. It's like you've received an upgrade to your internal operating system. You start vibrating at a different frequency than the one you were vibrating at before you met them. And this new frequency can't be deactivated simply because you rationally decided you want to move on. Your conscious mind can make that decision. But your soul, your energetic field, your deepest essence keeps vibrating at that specific frequency that was activated through mutual recognition. That's why when you try to connect with other people after recognizing your twin flame, you experience that strange feeling of disconnection. You can be physically present, talking, laughing, even feeling attraction. But there's a part of you that remains absent. A part that keeps vibrating at that frequency that only your twin flame can reach. And the more you try to force a connection with other people, the more obvious this disconnection becomes. But there's something even more specific that happens the moment you consciously decide to get involved romantically or physically with another person after recognizing your twin flame. And this brings us to the first effect you need to fully understand. The first effect is what we can call internal energetic dissonance. It's when your energetic system goes into conflict with itself because it's trying to process 2 incompatible frequencies simultaneously. On one side, you have the elevated frequency that was activated through recognizing your twin flame. This frequency operates at expanded consciousness levels, where love transcends possessiveness, where connection surpasses the physical, where recognition goes beyond the ego's limitations. On the other side, you have the frequency of a conventional relationship, which usually operates in third-dimensional dynamics: physical attraction, practical compatibility, emotional needs, security, projections, expectations. These 2 frequencies can't coexist harmoniously within the same energetic system. It's like trying to play a symphony in heavy metal at the same time. No matter how hard you try, it's going to sound chaotic, confused, disharmonious. And that's exactly what you feel internally when you're with someone else. But your soul is still tuned into your twin flame. A constant sensation that something is fundamentally wrong, that you're in the wrong place with the wrong person, even if rationally everything seems to make sense. This dissonance manifests in very specific ways. You can be on a perfectly pleasant date with someone interesting and attractive, but suddenly a wave of unexplainable sadness hits you. You can be physically intimate with someone, but your mind keeps wandering to your twin flame. You can be building something that seems promising with another person, but there's always that voice whispering that it's not real, that you're betraying yourself, that you're living a reduced version of what your soul knows is possible. Energetic dissonance also affects your physical body. Many people report symptoms that doctors can't explain when they're trying to connect with other people while still energetically linked to their twin flames. Chronic fatigue with no apparent reason, frequent headaches, tightness in the chest, insomnia or restless sleep full of disturbing dreams, anxiety that doesn't respond to conventional treatments. These aren't psychosomatic symptoms in the pejorative sense. They're real physical manifestations of an energetic system in conflict with itself. Your body knows you're trying to force something that isn't aligned with your deepest truth. Your nervous system perceives the contradiction between what you're doing externally and what you're feeling internally. And this contradiction creates stress at cellular levels, resulting in symptoms that no amount of medication or conventional therapies can completely resolve. Because the cause isn't in the physical body, or even in the mind. It's in the conflict between your conscious choice and your energetic alignment. The second effect is even more unsettling because it operates in the realm of your perception and intuition. It's when you start experiencing what we can call constant telepathic interference. After two twin flames recognize each other, a communication channel establishes itself between them that transcends physical distance, chronological time, and even the conscious will of both. It's as if permanent receivers have been installed in each other's system. And when you're with someone else, trying to create a different connection, this channel doesn't shut off. It keeps operating, transmitting information, sensations, and even thoughts between you and your twin flame. This creates extremely uncomfortable situations. You can be kissing someone and suddenly feel the energetic presence of your twin flame, as if they're watching, as if they know exactly what you're doing. You can be having a deep conversation with another person and suddenly receive an insight or feeling that you know is coming from your twin flame, not from the person in front of you. You can be trying to convince yourself that you're overcoming the connection, and then they contact you at the exact moment you were thinking about them, as if they sensed your energy shifting. This telepathic interference isn't imagination. It's a real phenomenon that happens when two energetic systems have been synchronized through twin flame recognition. And it doesn't respect your rational attempts to move forward. You can mentally decide you don't want this connection anymore, but your energetic field continues transmitting and receiving information from them regardless of that decision. It's like trying to turn off a radio that has no off button. The transmission keeps happening whether you want it or not. Many people report that when they're with other people, especially in moments of intimacy, they literally feel their twin flame. It's not a thought about them. It's the sensation of their presence, as if their energetic field is somehow superimposed on the present moment. And this doesn't happen because you're obsessed or can't get over it. It happens because there's a real energetic link that was established, and that can't be cut simply through mental decisions or external behaviors. The most disturbing aspect of this telepathic interference is that your twin flame also feels when you're with other people. They might not rationally understand what they're feeling, might even try to ignore or rationalize it, but on some level they know. And you also feel that they know. This mutual awareness creates an additional layer of emotional complexity that makes it nearly impossible to be genuinely present with another person. Because part of you is always aware that your twin flame is feeling your energetic absence, is perceiving the change in your vibration, is reacting on some level to your attempt to move forward. The third effect operates in a dimension that most people don't consciously perceive, but that profoundly affects the quality of any relationship you try to build with other people. It's what we can call automatic energetic comparison. Your internal system has developed a reference point through recognizing your twin flame. This reference point isn't based on superficial qualities like appearance, status, or practical compatibility. It's based on something much more fundamental: the quality of energetic vibration. When you experienced your twin flame's vibration, when you felt that specific frequency that resonates perfectly with yours, your energetic system memorized that sensation. It's like when you taste exceptional food for the first time. After that, all other versions of that food will automatically be compared to that original experience. You might even like other versions, might even appreciate them, but there will always be an awareness that they're not exactly that. The same thing happens with human connections after twin flame recognition. Every person you interact with will automatically be compared, at the energetic level, to that specific frequency you experienced with your twin flame. And because no other person carries exactly that same vibration, because no one else was created from the same essence as you, all other connections will seem incomplete in some way. This doesn't mean other people are less valuable or less special. It simply means they operate at different frequencies. One frequency isn't superior to another in absolute terms, but there's a frequency that's specifically yours, that resonates with your essence in ways other frequencies can't. And once you've experienced that perfect resonance, it becomes extremely difficult to settle for partial resonances. Automatic energetic comparison creates specific problems in the relationships you try to build with other people. You can be with someone wonderful, someone who in theory would be perfect for you, but there's always that subtle feeling that something's missing. You can't identify exactly what it is because it's not something tangible. It's not that the person isn't smart enough, or attractive enough, or caring enough. It's that their frequency doesn't fit perfectly with yours the way your twin flame's frequency fits. This manifests in specific moments. You can be having a deep conversation with someone, but you notice you need to explain concepts your twin flame would have understood instantly. You can be sharing something important and notice the person isn't catching the more subtle layers of what you're trying to communicate. You can be in comfortable silence with someone, but that silence doesn't have that quality of wordless communion you experienced with your twin flame. And the more you try to ignore these differences, the more you work to make it function, the more obvious the comparison becomes. Because you're not consciously comparing through your mind. Your energetic system is making this comparison automatically, continuously, in the background. And there's no way to turn off this process. It's like trying not to notice that you're breathing. Once you become aware of it, the comparison becomes even more obvious. The fourth effect is perhaps the most painful and most revealing about the true nature of twin flame connections. It's when you experience what can be described as fragmentation of presence. You can no longer be completely anywhere. Part of you always remains with your twin flame, no matter where your physical body is or who you're trying to connect with. It's as if your consciousness has been split into two places simultaneously, and you no longer have access to the experience of being totally present in a single moment. This fragmentation profoundly affects your capacity to fully live any experience. When you're alone, you think about them and feel the absence of the connection. When you're with other people, you also think about them and feel guilty or conflicted. When you're working, creating, living your daily life, there's always that background awareness that an essential part of you is energetically linked to someone who isn't physically present. This fragmentation intensifies especially in moments that should be of deep intimacy with another person. You can be in situations that would normally require your total presence, but you discover you can't fully surrender. There's always that part of you that remains distant, observing, comparing, remembering that specific connection you experienced with your twin flame. And the person you're with can sense this energetic absence, even if they can't name it. Many people describe this fragmentation as a sensation of living in two realities simultaneously. One reality is the external life you're trying to build, the relationships you're trying to develop, the practical choices you're making. The other reality is that internal connection, that energetic bond with your twin flame that keeps pulsing regardless of your external circumstances. And these two realities never fully integrate, creating a constant sensation of being divided, incomplete, partially present. Fragmentation also affects your capacity to feel fully. Your emotions become muted when you're with other people. You can experience pleasant moments, can even feel genuine affection, but never with that total intensity you experienced in connection with your twin flame. It's as if the emotional volume of your life has been permanently reduced. You still hear the music, but it sounds distant, less vibrant, less capable of moving you deeply. The fifth and deepest effect happens at a level that many people don't even consciously perceive until it becomes undeniable. It's what can be called soul resistance. While your conscious mind can decide you want to move on, that you want to build a life with someone else, that you want to forget this impossible or complicated connection with your twin flame, your soul has other ideas. And the soul always wins eventually, because it operates in much more fundamental reality dimensions than the conscious mind. Soul resistance manifests through unconscious sabotage of the relationships you try to build with other people. You can be genuinely interested in someone, can really want it to work, but suddenly you do or say something that creates distance. You can be on track to develop something serious, and then part of you creates a problem where none existed, questions things that didn't need to be questioned, finds flaws that didn't bother you before. This isn't self-sabotage in the pathological sense. It's your soul protecting your energetic integrity. Your soul knows you've already recognized your true frequency through the connection with your twin flame. It knows that committing deeply to someone operating at a different frequency would result in permanent fragmentation of your essence. So it creates obstacles, generates resistance, provokes situations that prevent you from fully rooting yourself in relationships that aren't aligned with your deepest truth. Soul resistance also expresses itself through disturbing dreams. You can be consciously convinced you're moving forward, but then you have recurring dreams with your twin flame. Dreams where you're together, where the connection is real and tangible. Dreams that leave you awake with a longing so intense it invalidates weeks of progress you thought you were making. These dreams aren't just psychological processing. They're messages from your soul, reminding you of a truth your mind is trying to deny. You might also experience intensified synchronicities related to your twin flame exactly when you're trying to get involved with someone else. Suddenly you see them in unexpected places, or hear songs that remind you of them, or find objects or symbols that carry specific meaning in your connection. These aren't coincidences. They're the way your soul finds to keep your awareness focused on that fundamental truth you're trying to escape. Soul resistance creates a sensation of fighting against yourself. Your mind wants one thing, but your energetic body wants another. Your logic points in one direction, but your intuition insists on another. Your conscious choices try to build something, but unconscious forces keep deconstructing. And the more you resist this resistance, the more you try to force your conscious will over your soul's wisdom, the more chaotic and painful the process becomes. So what's really happening when you try to connect with other people after recognizing your twin flame? What's happening is you're trying to live an energetic lie, and the universe, through all these effects we've discussed, is constantly trying to bring you back into alignment. This doesn't mean you need to wait forever for a union with your twin flame that might never happen under the conditions you imagine. It doesn't mean you should put your life on hold or refuse all other possibilities of human connection. But it means you need to be radically honest about what you're really doing when you try to connect with other people in this state. If you're trying to use other people to forget your twin flame, it won't work. If you're trying to prove to yourself you can move on, you'll only prove the opposite. If you're hoping that time or distance or new relationships will erase that frequency that was activated within you, you're setting yourself up for disappointment. Because once two twin flames recognize each other, once that energetic synchronization happens, there's no way to go back. There's no way to unknow what you've known, to not feel what you've felt, to not recognize what you've recognized. The only approach that really works is conscious integration. It's accepting that you carry within you a connection that transcends the normal limitations of human relationships. It's honoring this connection regardless of whether it materializes in the way you desire or not. It's understanding that maybe the purpose of this connection isn't necessarily physical union, but awakening within you capacities to love, to feel, to exist that could only be activated through this specific recognition. And from that acceptance, that integration, you can start living more authentically. If you choose to connect with other people, do it with radical honesty. Don't try to create something that replaces your twin flame. Instead, explore connections that have their own value, that offer growth and companionship and joy, even knowing there's a part of you that will always remain connected to that specific frequency. Some people manage to create healthy and satisfying relationships, while internally maintaining that sacred connection with their twin flame. But this only works when there's transparency, when there's acceptance from all parties involved about the true nature of the situation. And it requires a level of emotional and spiritual maturity that few achieve. For most people, the healthiest path is a period of conscious solitude, not desperate solitude where you're just waiting and suffering, but productive solitude where you use that intense energy that was activated through recognizing your twin flame to grow, to create, to become the most complete and authentic version of yourself, where you transform that longing into fuel for evolution, that intensity into motivation to fulfill your unique purpose in this life. Because here's a truth that can set you free. The recognition of your twin flame didn't happen to make you happy in the conventional sense. It happened to awaken you, to activate latent capacities within you, to show you levels of love and connection you didn't even know were possible, to force you to grow beyond the limitations you carried before that encounter. And when you stop resisting this awakening process, when you stop trying to go back to what you were before, or forcing your energy to fit into molds that no longer serve, something extraordinary can happen. You can discover there's a way of living that fully honors this connection, while also allowing you to be whole and functional and even happy. This way of living doesn't follow conventional scripts. It requires you to trust your soul's wisdom more than society's expectations. It requires you to accept that your journey might be different from most people's journey. It requires courage to live your truth even when it doesn't make sense to others. But when you find this way of living, when you integrate the connection instead of fighting against it or trying to escape it, you discover something surprising. The pain diminishes, the fragmentation starts to heal. The energetic dissonance resolves. Not because the external situation changed, not because your twin flame suddenly showed up and everything magically resolved, but because you stopped being at war with your own truth. And from that place of internal alignment, of deep acceptance, interesting things start to happen. Maybe your twin flame senses the change in your energy and responds in unexpected ways. Maybe new possibilities open up that you couldn't see when you were resisting. Maybe you discover the universe was just waiting for you to stop fighting, so it could show you the next step. Or maybe nothing changes externally, but you change so much internally that the external situation loses the power to define or limit you. You learn to carry this connection as a sacred gift, as proof that you're capable of loving at levels that transcend the ordinary, as evidence that your soul recognizes truths your mind doesn't always understand. If you recognized yourself in this video, if you felt every word as if it were written specifically for your situation, then you know what you need to do. Stop trying to use other people to forget something your soul doesn't want to and can't forget. Stop fighting against a connection that exists independently of your will. Stop fragmenting yourself trying to live according to expectations that don't align with your deepest energetic truth. Instead, accept, integrate, honor, and then live fully from that acceptance, not despite it. If you really stayed until the end and understood that trying to replace a unique frequency only fragments your own soul, leave in the comments the phrase, "My frequency cannot be replaced." That's the code for those who deeply understood this video's message. And if you want to completely accelerate this process of integration and alignment with your energetic truth, I've created 3 exclusive ebooks based on Carl Jung's teachings: 21 Days of Transformation with Carl Jung, Survival Manual for Difficult Days, and How to Manifest Your Twin Flame. The links are in the first pinned comment. These materials will guide you step by step to transform this experience into wisdom and personal power. Thank you for having the courage to explore these deep territories of human experience. See you in the next video.